I am of Indian origin. I was born in Singapore, but I was brought up in England, and now I'm living in Canada. So I only lived in India for about 3 or 4 years of my life before I was 5 or 6. But going back, it was quite the experience, and it was a culture shock, and I'm Indian.
We do have a Canadian culture, although we do know that Canada is a country of immigrants and there's so many ethnicities and different groups of people, but still there's a culture which one has to acclimatize to and integrate to. We don't want to lose our identity. I mean, I'm not saying that, because wherever we come from, we want to keep our personal identity intact, because that's how we enrich the organization or the healthcare system where we work with.
What is culture? There are many ways of describing it, but for our purposes, we'll use the iceberg analogy developed by anthropologist Edward T. Hall. According to Hall, the iceberg represents culture. Only the smallest part, our outward behaviors, can be seen above the surface. The characteristics below influence our thoughts and perceptions. Our values, beliefs determine many of our behaviors. These are learned unconsciously while growing up in a particular culture and throughout our lives. Initially, when two people from different cultures come together, they can only see above the surface. But if they do not understand the basic cultural values that differ underneath the surface, that's when misunderstandings can happen. In her book called The Brown Elephant in the Room, Gurwinder Gill points out that culture is unique to each person. Diversity within diversity. This is helpful to keep in mind as you go through the self-reflective exercises below. And as you listen to the individual cultural perspectives of our interview subjects. Here they discuss different approaches to verbal communication.
In India, we have unity in diversity. We have diverse states. In Punjab, what you say is Sat Sri Akal and you smile. But when you go to Delhi and everything, you say Namaste. You don't smile. In Punjab, yes, there is difference. In Haryana, what they do is they touch feet of your elders. So that's how they greet. In villages and in others, you just say Namaste. And then you're good to go.
Salam alaikum, which is universal to many Muslim countries.
About male and female, they are more conservative. Usually strangers, you don't talk to each other at all. In a workplace, they are very formal. And in the family, yes, they are more relaxed, and we have a shared conversation, male and female, yeah.
In the Philippines, I would say if you meet your manager in the hallway, it's more of a silent type. You just nod your head or bow your head. Meeting an elderly, let's say your grandma or your grandpa, they usually take their hand and put it on their forehead. That's a sign of respect when greeting them for the first time, yes. Which I don't find it here.
Back home, we used to call everyone sir and madam.
For the colleagues, we usually have the formal way of addressing.
It's a Filipino term, it's called po. It's a sign of respect when you're talking to an elderly or someone who has a higher authority.
But after when you work with someone for more than years, and maybe it becomes less.
For example, when I moved here, I was very surprised. We don't talk to our seniors like sir or madam. But it was very common, and I was talking to a nurse who works with us and said 30 years ago it would have been common here as well. So, the things have evolved, but still people coming from a culture where they don't question authority, they may be surprised by that there's hierarchy. Of course there's hierarchy here, but it's still less hierarchical as compared to many systems in the world as well. Just you can ask or broach a conversation is, hey, what is happening in Pakistan? Why did you move here as well is also a good point to start conversation as well. Pakistanis are very focused on cricket. They love cricket.
Travel. The Philippines is consisted of more than 7,000 islands, so you can talk about the different places where they come from and what they have to offer, like mountain ranges to the beaches.
It differs. If I'm a male, of course I will talk about soccer. We have big groups, Ahli and Zamalek, and this is a very, very popular. If we are female, so we talk about kids.
Food. Everyone loves food.
We like food. We talk about food also. This is our culture. We have very delicious food.
There are a lot of good food. Everybody talks about Indian food, and I think the whole South Asian food is taken as Indian food, but there are different kinds of food. Like Bangladesh has different food, or Sri Lanka or Pakistan. So food and cricket, two big things.
And then I would also say maybe family. Family is very important for Filipinos, so that's a good conversation.
In every state, wherever you go, once you talk about the politics, you're very frank with them. You can get to know anything and everything.
In the last few years, politics took a big share in our conversations because many things happened after revolution, Egypt 2011. Everybody, even kids, they have now knowledge about the revolution, the constitution, the parliament. We didn't like this before.